That's such a cute wall, Mandy. That's so cute.
Thank you so much. I get so many compliments on it and it makes me so happy. Well, hi everyone. I'm Mandy from Real Talking Reviews. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. I mean, Herman's maybe a little sleepy, but
I
he's
this is my
powering through.
fifth cup of coffee. I'm here to stay. I'm gonna vibrate at the end of this interview.
I
It's
love it.
the
And the
middle of the
time
night
difference
for
is
us.
a little strange too.
Sort of. It's half an hour past midnight. So I'm going strong. This is great.
Oh my gosh. Props to you. I'm so excited to talk about Sweetness, guys. I loved it. It was so intense. It was so like dark and twisted. So Emma, I'm curious because you wrote and directed it. How did the story even come about for you?
I kidnapped someone when I was a teenager and then made it kind of like a biopic. Um, was really no, I used to work in music. I obviously just really like the idea of teen girls stories too, and I'm a fan, so I kind of wanted to give a bit of a different side on the fan story. And I don't even like to call her crazy. I think she's a unique person, Riley. I just love the character study of fandom, which is kind of how it started.
Honestly, like I feel like I've been in her shoes, not to that extent, but like we all know that feeling of being a fangirl, and this movie like definitely captured that, but like the darker side. So Herman, you play Peyton, who is like obviously a struggling addict, but also kidnapped by his like super fan. So how do you even like
Yes.
prepare for a character like that with all of his complications?
Well, so I did super method. I went into being kidnapped for at least a couple of weeks leading up to shooting just to know
Yeah.
what that was about.
Yeah.
No,
Mhm.
it's well, putting myself into that is just very limited to what you can do to actually prepare for it. But I did spend some time, we made the songs. I was a part of making the songs for the movie, so I got to be in a booth, record the songs. Emma gave me a book that I could read about, so I knew got sort of like an insight into addiction and got myself prepared for that. And then on set, I honestly spent most times in chains, so that all felt weird, and the
Yeah.
walls were filled up with pictures of me. That's not CGI. That's literally pictures of me. So it felt very. It was a very easy set to imagine there being there, and Kate pulled it all off, being sweet and terrifying at the same time.
Literally props to her. She was amazing. And like you
Yeah,
said,
she
music
is.
is honestly like a really big part of this movie. So you kind of got to live out like this rock star fantasy. And like one of my favorite scenes was that like opening concert sequence. So I'm curious, like,
Oh,
how did you
nice.
even film? I loved it. Like, and the original songs you were talking about too. So can you talk a little bit more about like the music side of it? Because it is so important to this film.
Right. So I'm sure Emma has, because Emma and Blitzberlin and Martin and the crew, they all, I correct me, Emma, you guys went back and forth a lot with these songs, right? Establishing them and figuring out which songs you wanted to make.
That's true, but we also had kind of a limited timeline because we had to have them done before the movie started. So those guys were like pulling all-nighters, writing these songs and yeah, getting all the music together because honestly, we when we cast Herman, it kind of like I would say it changed the sound too. We were like, okay, we know that he's going to be this kind of pop star and he's like a little sparklier, so we need a bit more pop to it, right? Like he's in these little sparkly tops and things the whole movie. And so we're like, songs need a little sparkle. So we kind of found the sound. And then, yeah, some of the opening and concert sequence stuff was just like chaotically getting people to scream at the camera and and then filming these girls and kind of like giving them different direction, like, you're in love. Now imagine you're really scared of something and that kind of stuff too. So we were getting these different reactions that kind of yeah, that make the opening sequence. And then of course
Mm.
Herman was on stage. I think a lot of that opening sequence was just, one take of Herman like again, I think you hurt yourself on that one too. Didn't you bop yourself in the
I
face with
Yeah,
the
but that was
microphone?
solely on me. Who headbutts their microphone? That's my choice and my fault. That's on me.
That, that
It's
he
true.
But you learn,
That's
you
true.
learn.
it was
Yeah,
his
yeah.
first day as a rock star. Like,
Yeah, absolutely killed it by the end. And honestly, that ending was so shocking and like so jaw-dropping. I literally screamed in my room. I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm
I
curious,
love
what was
that.
your reaction to reading it? And then what was your reaction to like writing it? You're like, did you always know that you were gonna have that as the end?
Yeah, no spoilers here, but I did
Yeah.
always know that that was going to be the end. Yeah, I don't. It always it is the only way. I don't know. It had to end that way.
Yes.
For my sake, I remember reading the script for the first time, and one of the things that I fell in love with the script was the fact that it kept on surprising me all the time. Every time I thought I knew kind of where it was going, it kind of took a full on, turn and went the other way. And that didn't really stop happening even through the ending of it. It still kept me on my toes and surprised me. And I remember really wishing, like, this is such a typical thing that when you read a script, you can see it and you can read it and it's
Yeah.
great, and then it ends up getting rewritten in some kind of way.
Mhm.
This one didn't. It kept on being the way it was supposed to be all the way through, and I love it. I love the ending so much, so I'm happy you liked it too.
Yes. No, it was crazy. It was jaw-dropping. And like when we talk about like your character Peyton as like the rock star, Emma, did you always like know that it was kind of gonna be Herman, or did you kind of base that character off of him once you casted him?
No, I mean I wrote the script so long before I ever knew Herman, and then we found him in casting, and he just blew us away. Like he truly gave one of the best tapes, and we spoke, and he's obviously an amazing, kind, and talented person. I also watched a bunch of your
Thank you.
work, so I knew you could act, and you just had the whole package. But we amended the character for him too. Like that's he wasn't originally Norwegian, and that kind of happened through the process.
Yeah.
But I liked what it did because it makes him this like I don't know European import who's even more out of his depth because he's like far from home in the movie.
Yeah. Who was some of your like inspiration for like pop stars to kind of like incorporate into this film?
So once again, correct me if I'm wrong, Emma, because this is starting to it's quite a long time back. We spoke more or less about what kind of artist you wanted Peyton to be, and kind of what I felt like Peyton should be. And we both wanted him to be original in his own way, but we had certain artists like visually in mind. That's like the kind of like the darker looks of, for example, like Youngblood, for example, the way he kind of is a bit more gritty, but at the same time, I'm not wearing those kind of leathery things. It was all crop tops and glitter, so it made more sense to move closer to Harry Styles, that
Mhm.
kind of way. And then obviously my Chemical Romance kind of vibe over that. Emma also wanted to have a part of that, like an inspirational thing there. So it turned out being like those three and a couple of others with some Herman
Yeah.
like mixed
Yeah,
into
definitely
it.
Herman. Weirdly, some Troye Sivan too because of style.
Yeah, no,
Like
I can see that.
Troy's the
True.
crop top inspo for sure. Yeah.
But congratulations on Sweetness in the first place. It was amazing, and I can't wait for other people to
Thank
see
you.
it. And thank you so much for chatting with me about it today. So I look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Love to
Thank you
meet
so much,
you.
Mandy.